She doesn't. So that's so what I was talking about was the spirit of religion, right? And how sometimes we can be. So when I was not a Christian, when people would talk to me about God, I would shut down. But when people would talk to me about change, you know what I mean, about stuff like that, I'd be more open. And so it was a process. And I believe God comes to you when you're ready, right? And we have to live the experience that we've done. But the spirit of religion has damaged the message of Jesus so much that it's put a veil over the world. You know what I mean? Like, I know that there's spots that Josh talks about where Christians are being persecuted and stuff like that. But I'm talking about America was built on freedom of religion, right?
Yeah.
And so our forefathers were Christians, and they wanted to be able to practice their form of Christianity. And so what happened over time is that has been damaged. That's a house that I used to stay in when I was a kid, when I was homeless. And next door I would break into the duplex that was there because the kids' parents wouldn't let me live there because there was a house fire. We'd left candles in the house, in the apartment, and it burned down. And they blamed it on me. It wasn't necessarily my fault, it was all our faults, but I was the scapegoat. And so that just reminded me of it. And so the spirit of religion has stained most people's ability to hear the message of God. When Jesus preached, he preached in parables. He didn't try to put the Torah. For an instance, you know what I mean, when they asked him, what are the greatest commandments, you know what I mean? And Jesus simply said it's to love your neighbor as you love yourself and worship God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. And that pretty much settles any commandment that God had originally made with Moses, right?
Yeah.
And so the spirit of religion was in the Pharisees. And so the spirit of religion is in this world, you know what I mean? A lot of times we come with this self-righteous Christianity because we forget where we come from, or we don't want to go back to where we come from. And it's not that what I'm saying is right or wrong. It's just my ability to be able to relate to somebody that misunderstands God, you know what I mean? Because God is everywhere, you know what I mean? I've seen God in a homeless drunk guy giving me a cigarette downtown, and he whispered in my ear talking about not whisper, but he gave me that small subtle voice. And somebody walked by and said, oh, that could be father and son. And it made me think, man, if I keep going on with my life, I'm going to be that guy. And the truth of the matter is I've just gotten out of OHSU in a psychosis. And I was still in a semi-psychosis, right? But God has a way of speaking to you through the least likely of people so you can relate. You know, who did Jesus hang out with? Huh?
All of them.
Who did he hang out with?
Rebels and the sinners and all the,
Right.
you know, the people like us that,
The worst of the worst.
didn't participate in their sin, but he was with them.
Right. So let's not try to let this go over 10 minutes because I want to be able to post it to TikTok. And so let me know when the 10-minute time is up.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
All right. So, and so, like I just try to, you know, like I'm trying to find my balance in what we're doing here. You know what I mean? And so, like I was talking about earlier about when we seen Juice downtown, right? And Caden got a spiel, and you know, Caden's on fire for Christ, and you could see Juice was like, yeah, like kind of the eye roll, the body language, right? And so because I kept looking at his tattoos, and when I was in prison with him, the dude was in there. He was in shape. He was healthy. And I kept looking at his tattoos. I was like, man, I know this dude. And I was unsure of myself because the drugs had changed his body so much that he was unrecognizable to me, right?
So sad.
And then I took off my glasses and my hat and I said, look at me, man, I know you. And he looked at me and he goes, look. Oh yeah. And then his demeanor got even because he got angry. And so in that anger, he remembered who I was in prison. Juvenile yesterday was talking about me being a Tasmanian devil that takes over, right? And so who we are is kind of like the world when we're out there, right? And that's the way the spirit of religion people see, right? They don't see God. They see what people have done with God.
Yeah.
Right? And so once Juice seen, because he looked at me and then I seen him shake his head like something's different, like that's not. He goes, "You changed." And I said, "Yeah, I've changed."
Yeah, you're a
man."
living testimony.
Right.
You know, of what God can do, not what we can do.
Right. And so when he seen me and he seen the change in me, his whole demeanor changed and he opened up. Right? And so that's what I'm trying to do when I'm doing this documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is I want to show where I've been, how the system's broken, and untangle the spirit of religion through my story and be able to incorporate God in it also. But I also understand that when I'm telling my story, if I bring up God too soon, people shut down. Because that's what I used to do when people would shut down, talk to me about God.
I think sometimes it's just like meeting them where they're at. You know?
No, absolutely.
And loving them well and being led by what, you know, by the
Jesus
Spirit.
said when I was with the Jews, I became a Jew. When I was with the Gentiles, I became a Gentile. And you know, so we're called to have God's Spirit, God's presence, right? So
Yeah,
we're in the presence of God right now, right? And Josh talked about the last night that we need to strive to be in His presence. But striving to be in His presence is carrying Him with you in a way that is loving and understanding.
Yeah.
And so I have to understand people and come to them where they're at.
And I think having me anyways, like having my heart postured in worship, you know, place of worship, wherever I'm going, helps me maintain that,
Yes.
no matter what the environment. The environments get rough.
Right, and it does.
And then
with that,
demons want to argue.
right. All right, that's the spirit of religion.